Okay, so the reason I'm talking to you, Nick, is because you live in New South Wales, and of course there is a new cluster of apparent COVID cases based on fraudulent PCR tests, but that's besides the point. Whereabouts in Sydney do you live, and has this affected you at all?
I'm out in Western Sydney, right, sort of on the very outskirts, well away from the cluster. But we still got affected because there was a gentleman that was a bus driver from the airport, and he also plays in a band, and he'd been at one of our local RSL clubs before testing positive. So that's affected a lot of people. So it's affected me in that my Christmas now is effectively over because my mother was stalked by New South Wales Health and put into quarantine because she just happened to be there on the day within the window that they gave to deem her as a close contact. One of the big issues is that she was there. The window started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She was there until 10 past 1. Now, this gentleman hadn't even turned up at this time, but New South Wales Health are basically militant and no, you're a close contact and therefore you need to quarantine for 14 days. So that makes her in house arrest until the 27th of December and hence obviously my father as well. So for the first time in 38 years, we probably won't see all the siblings either because we're also facing number limits of 10 in a house at a time. So I got two sisters and a brother and then all the kids and stuff like that. So it'll be a very quiet Christmas this year, unfortunately.
So did she get flagged as a close contact because she did the QR code tracking thing?
She would have signed in with a membership and all of that. So they knew that she was in there being a club. Yeah, the places that the rest of us avoid, unfortunately. But I just don't think she thought she'd get caught up in it because it's interesting. I mean, you'd know this when your parents who, you thought might have been a bit rigid in their thinking suddenly start waking up to what's going on. So.
Wow. So this is she wouldn't have. How is she handling this?
Look, my mum's a really sweet lady, and the one thing she demands of Christmas every year is that at some point in the day we all get together, and it's a really big day for her. So she's obviously actually quite beside herself about it all. It's been really stressful for her. I know the first night she didn't really sleep much and all that sort of thing. So she's the type of person that takes it on board. So it's particularly horrible.
So they actually turned up. New South Wales Health turned up at her.
No, they just kept calling. And then I think she probably, I don't know if I should say, but she sort of avoided it for a day or so. She actually quarantined herself knowing that was the issue. She was a lot of anxiety around having the test done.
Yeah.
But she actually, to their credit, she actually said, look, I'll quarantine, but I'm not doing the test. And to their credit, they said, okay, you can quarantine, but not do the test. So she'd already quarantined. It was just that she was more worried about the test than anything too.
That's actually really good for people listening to note that they can't force you to get the test if you know your rights and you say that you don't want to get it, and you just have to quarantine for 14 days. Now, what about how long ago had you seen her? Are you getting caught up into this at all? Are they trying to contact you or anything?
Yeah, no, they haven't tried to contact me. I wish they would because I'm just not scared of them. But yeah, I don't think hadn't really thought about it. But yeah, I don't think I've been around her during that time.
So out of 34,000 people that were tested, I think 15 are currently positive.
Yeah, it's actually about 44,000 now. 44,000 tests, and there was another 8, so it'd be about 90 cases out of 44,000 people.
Right, and this was about an hour and a half away from where you live, or something along those lines. And
yeah, it's about an hour.
Yeah, and it's completely ruined your Christmas.
Absolutely, it has. Yeah. And even from the sense that we're all facing the 10-person limit, we've been told we can't. What did the health minister say? He said that the most dangerous thing people can do is sing Christmas carols, dance, and chant. So that's been. It gets to the point where it's just funny. I've just been chuckling to myself about it because you either laugh or you cry, but it's just, you can't believe it. And it's seriously coming out of their mouth. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And they're saying it with so much conviction, like they feel like they're saving the human race by telling them not to sing and be merry on Christmas.
Absolutely. I mean, I phoned up my local member's office just to express the whole situation and what I thought about it. And I said to the woman on the phone who was standing up for their policy that, I said, if these masks work like you want to tell us, why wouldn't you just say, look, you can sing, have fun, just wear a mask? Not that I would, but yeah. Yeah.
At least it would be more reasonable than to just put a blanket ban on singing.
It defies logic. I feel like maybe it's more about optics and things like that. It's just that pushing that fear and, oh, we can't sing and we can't dance and all that sort of stuff.
There seems to be a competition between leaders at the moment on who can be harsher because they want to have this feeling of I'm protecting my people, or I know I'm protecting my people. You know, it's not really getting anywhere, and we actually don't respect any of them for it. So I don't know what they're trying to achieve. So are you concerned about what will happen next? I mean, the feeling of uncertainty to me is pretty difficult.
Yeah. So, I mean, today we had lower case numbers, and they're now softening their approach a little bit. But I have people who, because of my involvement in these things and that I'm rather vocal, they'll come to me with little bits of information and stuff. And to tell you the truth, I was told by someone who works in the medical profession directly with this sort of stuff, the case numbers were going to be higher today and that they were going to be in Western Sydney where we are. And then they came out with 8 today. So, I mean, I know that information can be, you know, it's not always 100% accurate, but I still am surprised that the numbers weren't higher. And it makes me concerned that the potential's there to hold back numbers, because I think we saw that in Victoria, didn't we, where they held back numbers so they could announce it another day with a higher, you know, have more impact with the numbers for that particular day.
They brought numbers in from months before that were reclassified, you know, so it's just you just never know.